if you think it's hard to communicate with these people in real life, you're gonna have a real hard time online. A lot gets lost in translation. It's like being sarcastic has to be overly, animated. Otherwise, it will be taken serious. Or you could be being serious and a motherfucker think you're bullshitting. It's hard to navigate. I've been misunderstood so many times. It's like you have to say it like this. This is exactly what I mean. A, B, C, D. 1, 2, 3. Otherwise, good luck. And there's so many different kind of people these days. It's like you've got a ton of different camps and ways of thinking and brainwashing elements and propaganda angles and things people have been taught and things people have been psychologically manipulated into believing or reacting to. And peer pressure and social peer pressure with social media, where, here, I'll say this. I do believe that, I don't know if this is oversimplifying it, and even if I believe this, that either we're all racist or none of us are. Now, I'm going to work through that thought and see if it's true to myself. Because let's take the most racist person who believes... Well, no, if you're the type of person who believes somebody should die because of their race, I think that's a little much. But when I look through history, it's 50-50. You've got people killing other people who are different than them. But watch your friends close, watch your enemies even closer, because usually when there's a genocide like Pol Pot or Mao, or we won't say Russia because that wasn't like ethnic Russians killing the exact same people as himself. But, there's two examples of Pol Pot and Mao where people have self-genocided their own people. It was in the name of a communist idea. In Pol Pot's case in Cambodia, it was to rid the cities of people and allow the countryside to become, an agricultural society. I don't know what honestly, I don't know what he was doing. Maybe nobody liked him, and I think it was the Cambodia was maybe like Phnom Penh or something like that. Maybe he went there and he had a lot of bad experiences, like none of the girls liked him and the guys beat him up. I don't know, maybe he just had a grudge. But he went crazy and they were extremely brutal. You see Asian people, man, when they get crazy, they have no mercy on another soul. Like, they don't care at all. They just don't care. They'll do whatever they can to hurt each other. I got a little nervous there. I'm riding around in this car, and I'm in a very, very crazy town where, dude, it's scary riding around here, man. It is, it's one of those places where there's certain... Okay, we're bordering Chicago right now. This town borders Chicago. Chicago's about a half mile to my left. I'm traveling northbound. Or am I right? Or, and some of these towns, If they can't arrest you, which is their goal, and to take your car, they're like car crazy. They own the police department, or the chief or whoever owns the tow yard, and it's a game to tow as many cars as they can and make money, and they all get a $50 bill per car, $100, or it's they have financial interest in arresting you if you have a car. Now, if you're walking down the street, they don't give a fuck. You do whatever you want on foot, or if it's not or if you're passenger, they'll let you go. This is what I'm saying. I was in this town. I'm the passenger, and they took my car too for a lesser infraction. But they took this shit off me, and I told them, how come y'all are arresting her? And this was a girl I really didn't care about, but it just blew my mind. I had a hammerless pistol that I wanted to fix, right? And we were going to put a hammer in it because it was a big old pistol, right? And I had it in a coat wrapped up in the back seat. And the coat was a men's coat, and they knew it was mine, and they could have went through any, if they really wanted me, of course they would have took me. But it wasn't even really in the back seat. It was like kind of like tucked behind my front seat and the front right side passenger, back side passenger door, like right behind my right arm. It was a hammerless pistol, and I had weed on me. And the weed, I think I just I just rushed and like tried to hide it in my this waistband of these sweatpants I had underneath my jeans. It was cold out, and they got me out and they found it. It was too much for me to even like try, but I said fuck it. And I knew where we were, and I knew what this was gonna be. And when they came up to the car door with flashlights on both sides, I knew what time it was, and I knew when we got pulled over too. It was an unmarked, and this was gonna be some bullshit. And they took the weed. They didn't charge her with the weed, but they charged her with the gun just to tow her car. And she went to court, and they dropped the charge because it didn't have a hammer. But nevertheless, she had to pay the money to get the car out. Now, I told her when we smoked a blunt, the car smelled like weed. I told her, don't drive through that town. Stay in Chicago. Because I've been through there. And she was like, no, we're straight. We're just driving through. It's rush hour. It's like 6 p.m. winter time. So you get nervous when you even see that town's police officers. Because I don't even have a front plate on this car. I just got this cheap car just to have something to ride around in because all my cars broke. But yeah, back to the point. There's a lot of misunderstandings, and there's so many differences and divides between people. It's really hard. It's really hard to joke because that's why it's so hard to do comedy these days. You have to stay away from shit, or it's got to be brutally, brutally basic and to the point. Kind of takes away a lot of what you can do. And you got to make sure to stay in the middle. Because if I even jokingly play, whatever you want to call it, devil's advocate, or pretend like I'm playing a racist character just to make a point, there's going to be offended people, and that's always been the case, but now so more than ever. You've got people bending over backwards to prove they aren't racist, and I just think that we're all pretty much the same. We all have prejudgments. That means we're all prejudiced. Nobody follows. It was just Martin Luther King Day. Nobody judges a man based on content of character completely. They always judge you on looks. And skin color and race is a big part of looks. Okay? So that'd be like judging a guy because he's got face tats. You're prejudging nonetheless. Or he's covered in trash, or he looks homeless. Still prejudgment. How do you know he doesn't just like to dress like that? You don't, right? You do not know. But your mind, unwillingly, it doesn't necessarily do it consciously, Subconsciously, it's just going to do that. And the reason your brain does that is probably as a survival mechanism that's ingrained into your instinct to survive. Oh, this guy's got face tats. Well, maybe I don't want to bother him, because that's what older white people think. Now me, I'll be like, this guy's got face tats. I hope he doesn't try to get on some bullshit. I'll talk to him, but you probably might want to get on bullshit with me here on this fucking CTA platform. Maybe I'll just look at my phone. I don't need any more friends with face tats, to be honest. Whether he had those face tats or not, I'm not talking to nobody. It's not because of that, but I did happen to notice that. And when people have face tats, I like to look at them once to be like, damn, that motherfucker's crazy. He got that on his forehead. Motherfuckers are super savages out here. They don't give a fuck. Because it is a savage move to get a fucking forehead tat, disrespecting another gang, or aligning yourself, or showing everybody you're in a gang. I mean, just for life, in public, if you run into the opposition or a rival gang, you're branded. It's like a bumper sticker. I don't put bumper stickers on my car. It brands you. I never will. And then the police see them and they're like, oh, okay. Woo, woo, pull you over because it says Trump, and they don't like Trump. Or it says something else, like Bernie 2020 or whatever. Somebody is going to be on the other side, is the whole point of this whole thing. No matter how neutral you think you are, somebody's going to be on the other side. And also, no matter how, and the more neutral you are, I think the gayer. Stand up for what you believe in. Speak out. That might be the problem. Why are we so intolerant of people's views? Because everybody's constantly getting pushed into the center. So that when somebody actually does have a point, it's offensive. No, we all should have points. We all should be able to express them. That's what the freedom of speech is. You don't have to be offensive necessarily, but it doesn't matter. Because just merely expressing them in today's world is offensive. Even when you're not being offensive, by definition. So, I just wanted to say that, I push it. So, I do get misunderstood, and I do anger people, and there are people that really don't like me. But I'm the type of person that feels like if we actually spoke, we wouldn't fist fight. We might just be able to. I could get along with people if I try. The thing is, I don't necessarily try, especially online now. Online, I'm not dealing with you like a person. I'm just playing the whole time. And even when I do act like I'm trying to, be normal, I have a hard time. So I really, in order for me to be like a normal person, a normal friend, a normal, acquaintance or whatever, I have to turn off the playtime David, who just wants to joke around and talk stupid. And, man, I need to shave. And I need to say, you know what, this person might not appreciate it. This person seems like they actually want to talk to somebody normal. And so many times people have wanted to talk to me like a normal human being, and I just wasn't having it, and they pissed them off, and eventually there was a failure to communicate. It was at my fault a lot of times. So the internet, here we are, 2020. I really like talking to people, I do, and I'd like to do some things with people. So I'm going to try harder to be more of a human being and less of a fucking, the word is like when you don't deal with emotions well. When you just turn off emotions, there's no empathy. There's no even wanting to get to know somebody. You're just playing. I forgot the word, but everybody, God bless.